be sharing for the next she's going to be sharing for the next 30 minutes. So yeah, Lily, would you like to come in and share your experience, strength, and hope with us, please?
Thank you very much for asking me to share tonight's meeting. Hi, everybody. My name's Lily. I'm a grateful recovering addict and alcoholic. And thank you for everybody doing service at tonight's meeting. Service keeps me sober. It really does. I have a service position in my home group. I also have a service position in 2 virtual meetings, and I love it because it makes me accountable. They all hold me accountable. I have to be those meetings. That's 3 meetings I'm going to, but I go to far many more. This would have been my 3rd meeting today, but I did skip my middle meeting because I was at the beach. So I'll begin my story. My story is a tragic one. It didn't have to happen, but it did. I come here after attempted suicide in 2001. That's my sobriety date, January 26, 2001. And that could have been avoided, but I just wasn't willing. I was so goddamn prideful and thick-headed that I wasn't willing to listen to anybody. So I'll start from the beginning of really where my journey began. My first meeting was back in 1984 when I was admitted to my first rehab. It was a psychiatric hospital. I was addicted to crack cocaine. I weighed a stunning 96 pounds soaking wet, and I thought I was all that in a bag of chips. And I picked my skin raw. I had scabs all over my body. And this was a psychiatric hospital. It's an affiliate of Harvard. It's called McLean Hospital. It's in Belmont, Massachusetts. And that would have been enough to scare anybody sober because it was a scary ass place. And a woman that I knew met me there, and who I was going to say prisoners there. She was one of my fellow inmates, I almost said, the clients at this facility. She said she had sold part of her organs to get her fix. Her drug of choice was opiates. So I said, I'll never get that bad. I'll never get that bad. Fast forward about 30, 40 years, I did get that bad. So needless to say, I have been to some of the best rehabs in the world. I've been to Hazleton once. I went to Halfway House after that. That's the longest sobriety to date that I've ever had. And that was 4 months. But again, I lied to myself. I am the best actress in the world. I went into the wrong career. I should never have been a paralegal. I should have been an actress because I would have won major Academy Awards by now. So I got out of Hazleton and I thought I was all good to go. I started going to a few meetings, but I wasn't really invested in those meetings. And I have a full-time job with the City of Providence Law Department. So I wear a suit when I go to work. I'm making good money and people respect me. And I'm holding fundraisers for various political offices. And I have it going on as far as my sick mind was going. And I had a sponsor in name only. I had a home group in name only, but I wasn't invested in those groups. And I looked so well, my sponsor never questioned me that I wasn't doing the steps. So then I'm dating a man that has a full-time girlfriend. So I was a side piece. No woman ever wants to be a side chick, never wants to be the second string girl. So this one particular night, I started drinking, and I had been a year since got out of my halfway house, and I thought I left with their blessing, but I didn't. Now that I look back on it, if I took a good hard look at it, I left AMA, because there was no way they knew exactly what was going to happen, and it did, and then some. So I started drinking. It was like I never stopped drinking. And so I met up with this guy who I was a side chick to another woman. And he said, come on, Lola, I want to go out to dinner. So I said, okay, Rick. His name was Rick Lamka. And so he picked me up and we drove down to a place in Mystic, Connecticut. It's called the Steak Loft. And like it was nothing. I had been sober 4 months and I was going to, like I said, 3 good meetings a week. And I thought I was good to go. But I wasn't vested in my own program. So the waitress came by our table and she said, what do you want to drink? And like it was nothing. I said, I want an absolute with soda, 5 lemons. And that's the way I drink my iced tea now, with 5 lemons. So then I started drinking. It was off to the races. I started power hitting that bottle. So this one night I wanted him full time and he wasn't able to come and meet my needs that night. And so I started drunk dialing him. Meanwhile, I'm a surfer chick. So I got a surfboard attached to the top of my car. Didn't really think my crime through that well. So I figured I'd start drunk dialing him. So I'm drunk dialing him and I'm like, Ricky, you got to come up. I can't come up. His full-time girlfriend's name was Lois. He used to call her Lo. I got to stay with the weekend with Lo. And so I started F-bombing him. So then he hung up on me, and that infuriated me. I must have had steam coming out of or every hole of my face because I was getting enraged. So I thought I'd go down and confront him. I'll show that asshole that I can. I will show him what I'm made of. So I drove my car from where I live, which is a half hour north of where he lived. He lived really in the town that I'm doing this meeting from. And I pulled right on, it was June 9th, 1991. I pulled up into he's lived on the lower floor of a double-decker house, pulled right up in front of it. I went crashing through the screen door window, took it off the runners. And I went in and the woman confronted me and I hit her right in the head. I never would hit anybody, never in my mind. And so I cold cocked her right in the head. So then I thought I'd add insult to injury. So I went into their bedroom. I cleaned off everything on the top dresser. Then I saw her reach for the phone. I said, oh, this jig is up. So I got in my car. Meanwhile, my surfboard's attached to the top of my car. And I started pulling away. And meanwhile, I start seeing the lights behind my car. And I live in a small town. It's a seaside town. It was small prior to the pandemic. Now it's blown up. So my family's pretty well known in this little town. And so the cop pulled me over. He knew exactly who I was. He said, no, I'm going to have to place you under arrest. And I started going after him. Like, what are you arresting me for? And he said, because I'm charging you with the B&E. And so that B&E anything, I was invited into that house. No, you weren't, Lloyd. So he asked me to get out of the car once, twice more. And then he suddenly grabbed my hand and he pulled me out of the car. And then he cuffed me up and I was I was crazy. So I'm F-bombing this poor cop. He doesn't know what to do with me. He's known me. He said, Lily, I got to charge you with a felony B&E, not just a B&E, because you assaulted us. So now it's upgraded to a felony B&E. And so he got me in the back of the cruiser and I'm swearing up and down, left and right. I'm never going to get charged with anything. You don't know who I am. I'm Elizabeth Holmes, ace paralegal for the City of Providence Law Department. And there was nothing ace about me, nothing ace at all about me at that time. So he then pulled me into the police station and he poured me into the cell. He had the audacity to fingerprint me and take a mugshot of me. That incensed me even more. So I'm F-bombing. He poured me into the cell and I haven't had a bit of alcohol since that day, June 9th, 1991. And that's when I really I thought it was working my program. I'm going to know, I got released the next day and I emptied out my retirement account. And like I said, I work for the City of Providence Law Department. So I have some of the best lawyers in the city. So I hired a good attorney whose father was a Superior Court judge at the time. He's a very well-respected man. And so he took my case and he took me to court and I was looking at serious jail time. I couldn't handle one night in the slammer in my local jail, let alone in the state prison. But I was looking at hard time in the ACI, which is our adult correctional institution, which is prison, for 10 years minimum. So I got off with 10 years suspended sentence, but I had to go to my parole officer once a week. I only showed up once and then it was I was good to go. And I had promised him I wouldn't drink ever again and I haven't. Never picked up a bit of alcohol since then. And I worked the program as best as I could. And I got a home group in name only, got a sponsor in name only. And I think I'm doing and I'm talking from the podium and I'm thinking I'm doing all that good. And my sponsor never asked me if I was doing the steps, never once, because I was so well put together. There was nothing well put together about me at all. So I started getting about 1997, 96, 98. I started getting irritable and discontented inside. So I had gone to my dentist and he prescribed codeine to relieve me of the pain because he had pulled something. And that made me feel good. So I took 4 of them. So then I realized my dentist would give me Vicodin, and that shit made me really feel good. So I was taking 3 extra strength Vicodins just to get out of my bed in the morning. So I'm going along my merry little way. And meanwhile, I'm working for the City of Providence Law Department. So I think I'm doing well. And I'm going to these 4 meetings a week, and I'm not active in these groups, but I'm speaking from the podium high as a kite, but I'm sober in my mind. Now you ask me, I was never sober to begin with. The only sober time I had was the 4 months that when I spent in Hazleton in my halfway house. And it started. So then if you know anything about opiates, which I'm sure some of you do, you get itchy and I scratched my back raw. And I had got my new primary care physician. So she misdiagnosed me with shingles. So she prescribed me a script of Oxy. And I loved the way that stuff made me feel. So I had 40 milligrams of 30 tablets, 40 milligrams each. So I was living my life, the best life I could live. I was popping those babies. I was never taking them as they were prescribed. I was taking 3, 4 at a time. And I was high as a kite. I'm speaking from the podium, mind you. And this was roding at my soul. And I'd taken my one and only hostage, which is now my deceased ex-husband. I'm stealing narcotics from him when I couldn't get my script filled in quick enough. He had surgery on his knee, so I would take his Percodan, and he was in pain, and I'd steal them. Meanwhile, I befriended a nun, and this nun was sick with lupus, and she had a prescription of Moxie. She used to keep them in her panty drawer, and I'd go in there to hold me over. I would never do that, never. This was a nun. I thought I'm going to hell for this crap. So, so then that started eroding at my very fabric of my soul. I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. And I'm somewhere inside of me, I knew I wasn't sober. And everybody in AA was so good to me, so nice to me every time. And they were so willing to give me of their time. And they were just so kind to me. And I'm speaking from the podium, and they're believing the stuff that I'm telling them. And I was believing it. That's how twisted I was. That's how twisted I was and delusional. I was a dead person living, walking dead. So this one day I couldn't stand it anymore. So I decided the world would be better off without me. So I took 40 milligrams of Oxycontin and washed them down with 3/4 of the lorazepam. And my husband, I come home from work and I was asleep. I slept all the way through because I was in my coma. And my body started turning like gray blue. And I started getting cold. So we knew there was something more than me napping. So we called the rescue. So they transported me to my local hospital. And my family's peripherally on the medical field. My sister was a very highfalutin publisher of, she promoted drugs legally. Her big drug was Viagra that she published. So, so she's hooked up with doctors all over the world. So, so then she came to town. She flew back from Florida to be with me. My cousin flew out from Minnesota. He's a high-ranking infectious disease, like at Mayo Clinic. And so he flew out here. He said, "You got to get her out of here, Aunt Betty, because she's going to die." So they flew me up to a critical care hospital right outside of Boston called Leahy Clinic. And I bless them that God put incredible doctors in my path because they gave me 1% of a chance of dying. Not because of the overdose, but because of my organs failing. So gradually my organs started dying on me. So but lo and behold, my mother knew I wasn't going to die. She kept praying and praying and praying. She had an incredible faith that God wouldn't let her down, and she didn't. He didn't. So, and then they were told that they had to move me to a physical rehab hospital. So they put the place in Boston called Spalding. It's in the United States. It's pretty well known because it's very good work with the stroke patients and anything to do with the brain. And I bless them that they put me back together. And so about midway through Spalding, I then became cognizant of where I was. The first honest thought I ever had in my whole life was when I came to semi-comatose. I thought, I did this to myself. I did this to myself. No pointing fingers back, and no scars on my body. So I know I haven't been in a car accident. I know I did this to myself. And from that day on, I've been busy staying sober. And I take my recovery so damn serious. I do all the 5 absolutes in AA. I got a sponsor, not in name only. I work with my sponsor. I got a home group, not in name only. I go to that home group. I also do service. Like I said, I'm a chairperson. I'm a host of a meeting. I'm also a secretary at another meeting, and I'm the GSR in my home group. And I can never drive again. That's a tough nut to swallow. At that time, I was 40 years old. The only thing that's gotten me through this is that I know God is not taking me this far to drop me off. And I had a legal guardian until 3 months ago when I went to court and had it removed. Now I'm having all my money put in my name. So all my checks are coming to me, and that is such a freeing feeling. I just can't tell you how much I love being sober, way more than I like being high. Way, way more. I went to the beach with 2 other fellows from the fellowship. One of them picked me up and we went and frolicked in the ocean. There's nothing better than that. And I have a relationship with the higher power. My higher power started out as a beanbag chair. Because the first big book step study, the facilitator said, what do you want your higher power to be able to do? And I said, I want to be really comfortable in it. And that's the first thing I thought of, a beanbag chair. It didn't stay a beanbag chair for so long, but then I eventually began calling it God. I don't believe it's a man or a woman. It's just been a man because that's the way I was brought up. And he doesn't hold a score sheet saying, oh, you did this terrible thing. That's 2 demerits for you. No, he's all forgiving. As long as I try to do better the next day, I'm all right. I'm good with everything I've done. I mean, no harm to anybody, nobody. And if you just knew coming back, just keep coming. Really, please just keep coming. This program will get you. And if you can't do it, just pray to my God. I have a ginormous God. If he can save my butt, he can save anybody's butt. So don't think you're that far gone that you can't be saved, because you're not. God doesn't make junk. He does not make junk. I'm a perfect living example. And if you don't, please just don't give up on yourself, because you got to believe in yourself. I know if you're down and out, you relapse, no big whoop. I know it feels like the end of the world, but it isn't. Just try to go to another meeting. If you're that tenuous about being at a meeting, just go, just to listen. I still do. I do on the average when I'm not working, I try to go to 3 meetings a day. This would have been my 3rd meeting, but unfortunately, I got to go to the beach today, and I love the ocean any day. And I did 24 years of sobriety, so I figured I could slack off. But I got up first thing this morning. I went to my home Zoom beach meeting. I do all my meetings on Zoom except for my new home group, which is the Narragansett Sunday Night Women's Step meeting. And I love that tribe of women. Oh, I love them. One of my tribe ladies was going to take me to court this Thursday because I'm having all my money put in my name. And my sister needs to show up and say that she has transferred everything in my name, because there was a time she didn't want to transfer bupkis in my name. And now she can trust me. It was taken 24 years, but gradually she did trust me. I just got relationship with my family like no other. And I love my great nieces and nephews. I never had kids. I was never fortunate enough or not fortunate enough. But I think God has bigger plans for me because it frees me up to do other things. You read in the big book, everything in the big book is true. Everything. Everything. Marty Mann was a halfway house I went to, and that name was lost on me. But Marty Mann was the first pioneering woman of AA. I've been to Bill Wilson's Stepping Stones in New York. I went there and it was incredible. I sat at his desk where he wrote the 12 steps, the 12 and 12. I felt like I was before God. I really did. I just told them, Bill and Bob, in such reverence, such reverence. I found this meeting by accident. I just happened to go on to it one Tuesday afternoon, and I loved it because you guys let me talk about my narcotic use and my drug use and my alcohol use, because they're all a drug, all of them. Anything that takes me out of my mind is a drug. Now, if you look at me and you tell me I don't take anything, I don't take anything unless I take gabapentin and I take tiazidine for muscle relaxant because I have a coma leg. And my body is hunched up like an old lady because I am old. I'm 64. I'm going to be 65 in November. I feel about 110 when I get out of work. And now I have a job at a market, a boutique market, but I work 3 days a week. And I go there early or ass in the morning, 5:30 to 12, because that's all that I'm on SSDI, which is Social Security Disability, and I can only work so many. I can only make such. Plus, I get retirement from the City of Providence Law Department and a pension. So I was vested when I tried to off myself. Good thinking, because I have Blue Cross and Blue Shield and Delta Dental for the rest of my life, and that's big time bucks. I just can't tell you how much I like being sober. I'm going on a cruise to Block Island, which is a little island off of Rhode Island, with a bunch of sober tribes people. And we're going for the day. We're going to go to an AA meeting that night. And I don't care whether it rains or pours or anything. I'm with my tribe people. I'm always better when I'm with my fellow tribe members. I just love being sober way more than I love being high. So I'll leave it there. Thank you. I hope you got something from my share. Thank you for asking me, Paul.